This cliffside is about to get completely transformed. Welcome back to the Forever World. We're picking up right where we left off after terraforming this awesome valley and waterfall. Today, we're finally going to be building our villager trading hall atop these new cliffs. That's right, we're finally going to have mending in this world. I'll also be continuing the terraforming in this area, that way we can finally finish this section of the town. But, of course, in order to terraform, I first need a whole whack of blocks. Which is why the last few days I've been hard at work collecting dirt, which is why we now have 3 double chests worth of dirt. Which may sound like a lot until you realize we used like 5 or 6 double chests last episode. So we will see how far that actually goes. Also, side note for anyone who's curious, our house hippo from the first episode is still here. And yes, he is still on half a heart. Yep, we definitely need to get this show on the road. It is getting stupidly expensive to repair this shovel. To the mob farm I go. There we go. Hopefully before this becomes an issue again, we will have mending. Alright, let's get down to business here. Before we can think about building atop this cliff, we gotta close up this hole right here. What I'm hoping to do over the course of this episode here is A, close up this gap like I mentioned before. B, I want to expand the terraforming this way so that I have more space to build up on this plateau. And C, up here I want to turn this area, maybe around that house right there, into another small lake. And I want this lake that'll end up here to feed into this one here with another smaller waterfall. And I think that'll really help with the composition on this side from down here, because right now this is looking kind of blank. So with a building here and another smaller waterfall right here, plus a complete terraform, I think that'll really finish up the area. So let's get to outlining a few things up here, that way we have an idea of what we're building. Alright, I've just dotted out a few basic paths here, but this is essentially how we're going to terraform this. We're going to extend this layer here a little bit out this way, and we're going to connect it up with that line over there. And then we're going to slowly and gradually bring it back to the mountain over there. Over by the house, as I mentioned, we've outlined where we're going to have our new lake, so that's the plateau it's going to sit on. And we're going to extend this cliff over to about this point here, slowly bringing it down on a diagonal. That way we can mesh it with the terrain. I don't think I explained that last one very well, so I'm just going to have to do it and show you what I mean. So let's get block placing. There we go, we got lots of space to build our villager trading hall now. We finished up all of the terraforming on this side, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. We may need to place a few blocks here and there to smooth things out, but overall, it's looking pretty good. This area over here, plus the lake that we were planning up here, still needs to be done, but we will move on to that later. I want to move on to some building. Now for the $1,000,000 question, how do I want to do this trading hall? Because I've got a few ideas for how we could do things. I'm just not settled on one yet. The one thing that I do know is this trading hall can only be 1 story tall. And to explain why, I've got to back up here first. Alright, here we go. So we've got an overview of the area over here. If we were to make a 2-story tall trading hall, it would be very tall, and that would throw the entire waterfall and cliff out of scale. With this trading hall, we're going to be kind of walking the line in terms of underscaling or overscaling the entire area, so we've got to get it just right, meaning not too big and not too small. Alright, so part of the way that we can counteract the scaling issue is by building this thing further back. I'm just going to throw a few posts down here to mark out a little square, and I'm just going to build this up quite a few blocks, and we're going to take a look at it from down below and see what it looks like. Because we also don't want to build it too far back, or we just won't see it. Yeah, see, there we can barely see the top of that pillar, and I made it pretty tall, so we might want to bring it forward a little bit. There we go, from this angle that looks a lot better, but we want to look at it from a few different angles to make sure that the scale works everywhere. And this is part of what I was afraid of. If you look at it from down here, it just doesn't exist. So while moving it further back was a good idea in theory, we're gonna have to build it further up if we want to see it from the cliff face, which means that we have a decision to make. Do we want to have a small trading hall further up that you can see from most angles, or do we want to have it pushed further back so that we can build it bigger? I'm going to tear this down for now, and we're going to build it further up on the cliff because I'm leaning towards a smaller hall, since all we really need is a few librarians, some farmers to get some emeralds, and some what are they? Is it leather workers that give saddles? I don't remember. I know that doesn't seem like a lot for a villager trading hall, but the reality is we're going to be making other trading halls throughout the world that will have other things as well, so they don't need to be large, especially not our first one. There we go. That's looking pretty good, I think. And then looking at it from down here, we can still see this pillar here and a little bit of the other one, so I think we're in the clear. Let's get one more perspective from over here at the house. Yep, I would say that's looking pretty good. So coming back to the top side here, these are the pillars that I laid out just to get an idea of the height map. What we're going to be building up here on the hill is a church, because if you think of the buildings that you would generally find in a small town, what are the ones you generally think of? Church and tavern, neither of which we have built. So I figured this is a perfect place, and we can make it look like our villagers are sitting in the benches of the church, and yeah, it seems like a pretty cool idea. Whether it works or not, that's another thing altogether, but let's grab our resources and let's start planning things out. We're going on a little side quest here. We're about to have to move a lot of resources, and well, as you can see off camera, I've been breeding a lot of horses and donkeys. So I think we're going to put Shadow in the pen over here, and we're going to try and get ourselves a mule today. So out of our good donkeys, let's find the best one that we have. I think that would be this guy right here with almost 11 speed and almost 3 jump. Honestly, this donkey is nearly as good as our horse. And then we've been breeding these 2 horses here, and they are getting pretty good as well. So we're going to take this guy. Oh, we're going to take this guy here. And now let's see what kind of luck we have with a mule. 11.59 speed, 2.2 jump. How does he stack up compared to Shadow here? Little better jump, pretty bad speed. I think we'll tie this guy up right here, and we might try one more time. Let's give this one more try, and you are better, I think? Yes, he's better. Well, better jump anyways. Okay, we'll tie this guy up here too, and now we just gotta wait 20 minutes. There we go, all grown and ready to saddle up. And boom, not bad. This guy isn't quite as fast as Shadow, but he jumps way higher, so that's good. Anyways, time to grab my resources. Alrighty, we got all of our resources together here. I don't exactly have a block palette down for this church yet, but I do know I want it to mostly be stone. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take all our stone brick here, as well as whatever dirt is left over here. We're going to extend this so that it covers the entire base of the church, and we're just going to get the base shape down with the stone bricks for now, and then we can detail and texture after. There we go, we got our base shape down for the church here. Now that we have that built up, I want to step back and take another look at it from the island over here. Make sure our scale is still right. And it's looking pretty good, I think. It'll be a lot better once we get a roof on it too. And in terms of scale, I think it's pretty good. It's much smaller than our farmhouse here. It's not too bad in terms of the windmill, so yeah, I think we're in the clear. So I think the next thing we're going to want to do is get the roof in place, and I'm thinking we'll use tile deep slate for that. So I'm thinking for the roof we'll have something kind of like this, and then we'll start going a little bit steeper as we get higher. Then we'll end up with something kind of like this. There we go, it is coming along. Definitely looks a lot better now that we're starting to get some details and the roof in, but we do need to take another look from this angle once again. This should be the last time that we need to look because, I mean, we might make the tower a little bit bigger, but yeah, that's looking pretty sweet, I think. Not too big, not too small, and it's got a really nice shape to it too. Alright, now that we've got the basic shape down, I think it's time for us to start getting some windows and doors in here. There we go. I've poked a bunch of holes in the walls and it is looking pretty good, I think. I also made this little doorway, which I'm quite happy with. Now I think if we carve up this tower a little bit to make it look less like a brick and then extend it upwards a little bit, I think we should be pretty good. There we go. I think I've detailed this up about as much as I want to. Added all these little bits to give some texture, and we have all our windows in. Our tower isn't just a block of stone anymore, and we did a little bit of work on the back here too, so it's not just a flat slab. But now there is something else that we have to do to this build. It looks pretty flat still as just stone bricks, so we gotta swap some stuff out. Now, I always tell people that I'm not a fan of what I like to call block vomit, so we're just going to do some tasteful changes here. Maybe we'll change these out for cobblestone with a little bit of mossy. There we go, just little bits like that here and there around the build, just to make it not look like it's, you know, one tone. Now for the fun part, actually doing it. And here we go, the finished result. There is one thing that I couldn't quite get right, which was this window here. I wanted to put glass in it, but every time I did, it connected up with the wall here and made this look a little wonky. I think it just looks better without glass. Ideally, I would have left them all open without glass, but I mean, with villagers being inside, we kind of want to have that extra layer of defense. But over here, as long as I have the floor at this level, they shouldn't be able to get out, and nothing should be able to get in either, so we should be fine. Alright, next let's turn our attention to the inside here, which is, well, let's just say it needs a little bit of work. Let's get rid of the marker pillars here, and we can knock down these walls to open up the church a little bit, and this wall here too. Next, let's throw down a basic floor here. So over here, I want to have it a little bit more elevated, and then past this, we're going to drop the floor layer down one like this. There we go, this is starting to turn out, and there's actually a lot more space in here than I thought there was. So how I'm thinking we're going to lay things out is up here we're going to have the, I don't exactly know what it's called. I think it's the altar. We're going to have that up there, and then we're going to have the benches down here in rows. And then this area off to the side here that I was worried about the villagers jumping out the window from, we're actually going to have our staircase over here. Because even though we have a good amount of room in this church, we don't have enough room for a villager breeder as well as, you know, all our villagers. But lucky for us, this mountain is hollow, which means a basement should be easy enough to make. So what I'm thinking for the stairs here is we're going to mark this off like this, and we're going to have an archway here. I just don't have the blocks in my inventory to do it right now. And then from here, we're going to have a small spiral staircase going down kind of in this pattern here. And I'm thinking for a bit of extra color, we're going to do the stairs out of dark oak. We'll eventually get this right. I'm going to use the slabs for stairs instead of actual stairs. That way the corners here aren't awkward, because when we use stairs, they do get a little awkward in the corners there. There we go. Didn't know how far down I needed to go, so I just figured, you know what, I'll go all the way down to the bottom, and then if we need to peel it back, we will. But I guess my next step here is to figure out where I want to put my villager breeder. Alright, after a little bit of thinking, this is where we're going to put the floor. From here, we have 12 blocks of vertical space to work with, which should be more than enough for our villager breeder. But we are going to have to grab a few more resources to do this. because I've had yet another fun and time-consuming idea. What if we were to make the basement of the church into a catacombs? And then eventually we could have those catacombs run all throughout the underbelly of our village here, and eventually meet up with the sewer over there. Obviously we're not going to get all of that done this episode, but we can at least get the first chamber done and put our villager breeder in that. So we're going to need a lot of stone, which we don't have apparently. The good news is we should have lots of stone over in the mines here. I tend to make it a habit between episodes to go into the mines and do at least a couple hours of mining. That way when we run into situations like this, I can just run down here, open the chest, and boom, lots of stone. Alrighty, let's get this party started. First thing I'm thinking we're going to do is extend this slab here out to the length of the church, which is 11 blocks, and I definitely was not counting. I was only one off. Then we're going 18 this way and 6 this way. Now I want to do this floor with a combination of andesite, stone, and cobblestone, but considering I don't have a base to work off of, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill it all in with stone to begin with, and then just punch out bits and pieces and replace the blocks. Alright, so that's where our floor is going to be. What we're going to do now is we're going to head up to the top side, and I want to punch a hole right here. And then from down here, we'll get right underneath it and mark it out. That right there is eventually going to be a bubble elevator to bring all of our villagers up into the church. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is from the corner over here, I'm going to mark out some pillars, and I think we're going to leave 7 blocks in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we will do that all the way down here. We're left with 1 extra block here. We'll just shave that off. Hey, leave my door alone. They broke the door. They didn't even come in, they just broke the door. Jerks. Oh, there's a lot of them. This is what I get for not lighting anything up. Oh, the church is under attack. Oh, there's children now. Well, it looks like I've got some people to put in my catacombs now. Anyways, back to what I was doing before I was so rudely interrupted. So this middle section right here is where we're going to put the villager breeder, I think. We'll have to find some way to disguise it so it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. Because while I do like the catacomb idea, it's kind of the opposite of a villager breeder, isn't it? We're putting the place where we're making new villagers in a place where you bury your dead. I guess you just can't think about it too hard. Alrighty, I went ahead and grabbed all of the items that I need to make my villager breeder here, so let's pop up in the center here about 8 blocks. We gotta make sure to build this high enough up that when the villagers jump down below, they don't count as part of the village, that way they keep breeding. So around here should be good. Now it's been a hot minute since I've built this design, so let's see if I can remember how to do it properly. I believe I do a glass circle like that. Then I drop the fence down by 1. Then I make a small wing out each side like this. Now this is where I'm a little fuzzy. I think all the pillows are supposed to face in towards the center, but I could be wrong on that. It's been like 5 years since I made this design, and I don't have to build it very often because I usually play on long-term worlds. But anyways, cover all of these up with trapdoors so that the villagers don't pop up there and they're forced into the center, and knock out this pillar. Now, assuming I didn't mess anything up, in theory, that should be our villager breeder. Now we just gotta build up the area around it. Alright, I've built a box around the villager breeder, but we have a problem. This is why I generally build villager breeders on the surface above builds rather than below, because I forgot about the y-axis requirements. I mentioned that the villagers have to drop a certain distance so that they're not considered part of the village and they'll keep breeding, but I didn't take into account that works the other way too, and currently, this village is only like 3 blocks below the surface of the church, which is where the rest of the villagers will be. So once we put villagers up there, our breeder will break. Alrighty, I put my thinking cap on and I came up with this solution here. As I mentioned before, I really don't need that many villagers in this trading hall. So if we can only have 2 villagers in baby mode down here, that's totally fine. So our breeder villagers will be here like our design was up there, and they will drop babies down right there into this area right here, which will have a water stream running this way and then a bubble vader going up, bringing them into this area right here. So down here we can do whatever we need to do. We can set up a zombie to zombify them, we can let them grow up, we can give them their profession, all that fun stuff. And then when they're ready to go up, we send them up the bubble vader, and this right here is the marker for the bottom side of the village up there. So these guys won't count towards the village up there, those guys won't count towards the village down here, and we should be all good. Alrighty, I spent a little bit of time playing around with it, and I came up with a nice design for the catacombs area, or crypt, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this one was the hardest one to take care of because it's an odd shape. The other ones are going to be much smaller because, well, we're not shoving a villager breeder inside them. So I'm thinking first we get up the pillars on the side here, and then I'm thinking this will run back 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and then we'll have the wall here. So we can make our cube here like we did with the other one. Then we can come up here and throw in our roof. And then we do our fancy ceiling thing here. And then our pillars on the side here. Awesome, and this is where things start to get different. So we're gonna have 2 levels, one here and one, let's say, here-ish? All right, so we build out our floors here. All right, and now we're gonna take some spruce stairs and do something kind of like this, and then throw some spruce slabs on top. We'll do the same up here too, and then we'll get some stairs going on the bottom level here. And there we go, we've got some coffins in our crypt. So now just gotta do this with some slight variations all the way around here, and then either on this wall or this wall we'll have a door. It'll lead to nothing for now, but that'll be our future expansion. There we go, it is now complete. Well, with the exception of the floor, I still have to do the floor. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how this crypt turned out. I do want to find a way to get rid of most of these torches and have really dim lighting down here, but, you know, still not have stuff spawn. And this section that I left empty right here will become a doorway to a new section of the crypt when we get some time. But yeah, we really need to get motoring on this mending project, because look at my pickaxe. It is on death's door. I actually think I'm going to have to use my fortune pickaxe to finish the floor here, otherwise I'm going to lose my silk touch. There we go, the floor is in and we are pretty well done down here. The last thing we have to address are these big holes that I made here, and this is how we're going to keep our villagers in place. So we're going to place wool down like this across the entire strip. Looking at it now, I don't think I made enough, but this is going to prevent villagers from passing over here because their pathfinding will register this as a hole, and they just, well, they won't walk here. Oh, no way, I have the exact amount that I need. That's awesome. Now comes the fun part. We gotta get 2 villagers from one of the villages around here into this villager breeder. And anyone who's moved villagers before knows what a joyous task that is. Alright, I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure every villager in this village is dead. Hello? Nobody home. Hello, housekeeping. Knock, knock. Anybody home? Yep, I think this is a ghost town now. The good news is we have another village not too far away there, but I'm thinking it's not going to be too fun to move a villager from there to here twice. But I also don't think we have much of a choice. Let's just double check that this isn't a ghost town too. That's a good sign, I already see life. Perfect, we got villagers. Alright, let's see how far I can get these guys by boat. Get in the boat. This is gonna be fun. And we're stuck. Oh, you jerk. He took my spot in the boat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to break it. Well, at least he's going up again. And I think we are good. Just gotta smash our way through here. There we go. I should be able to get him to at least the mining hut. Alright, so this is about as far as we can get our villager for now. Now begins the hard part. Let's just make a random workstation here. Let's see if we can't lead him over here with a workstation. Oh no, where are you going? Oh, he's heading towards the blast furnaces. No! Or he found a barrel. Okay, not all is lost. He's here now, so no, get out of the house. If we can get him out of the house, we can get him back in the boat. Here we go. Get in the boat. Yes! Now we might be able to get him to that lake over there. Alrighty, there we go. Now we can at least get him to here before we have a whole new set of problems. I think the only way to move him from here is with a minecart, because there are far too many distractions around here for him. There we go. It's not pretty, but it should work. Straight up and over to the church. Alright, let's pop this guy out of the boat and see if we can't get him into a minecart. And into the minecart. Now for the fun part, we gotta push him up the hill here. There we go. Now that we're up here, it's straight to the finish line. Then we loop around the church here and we drop him in this hole, and he should be right where he needs to be. Let's just pop on down here and make sure. Yep, there we go. That is exactly where I wanted him. Now I just gotta pop you out of your minecart, and we gotta do it all over again with another one. Ah, man. Well, I guess I have my answer about which way the beds were supposed to be. So I wound up having some technical issues here and I lost some footage, but long story short, I messed up my villager breeder design and it wound up being easier to just switch over to the Rayworks design. Alright, they've popped into bed. Let's see if they pop out in the right spot now. And we're in the clear. Now let's throw them some bread and let's see if we get a baby. Yep, I saw a baby drop down there. It's probably not a good sign that he... Oh, wait, no, there he is. I thought he was stuck down there drowning, but our system works. Now we just wait for him to grow up and for them to make a second baby. I figure while those villagers are growing up, we can take care of where we're going to put them next. And I mentioned before that I want to put them in the benches in the church. So I figure we'll set up a few rows like this. And then we'll put some sides on. And there we go, we got a few benches to put the villagers in. Now I know what you may be thinking. Elfie, you can't put villagers in stairs. And you would be half correct to say that. Let me show you something. We throw a block here and a minecart here, take out the rail, put the stair behind, and then grab a piston behind that and power it. Then boom, we just put the minecart in the stair, and we can do that with an entity in it as well. And I worked out in a creative world that if we put our workstations behind the bench like this, we can surround it with trapdoors and throw some trapdoors over the top here, and we won't even be able to see them. And bonus, they still work. So it's a little bit of a process, yes, but it'll look awesome when it's done. Alright, clearly I don't remember as much about villager mechanics as I thought I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I had something wrong with the Y coordinate because these guys are still pumping out villagers. I mean, I'm not going to complain, I just don't understand it. And I messed up. Remember that hole that we made over here to make the bubble vader for? I mean, with the design, I guess it never would have worked, but I don't know how I'm going to get the villagers up. It's not elegant, but I'm sure it'll work. We'll just slap a hole in the side of the church here and roll our villagers in. And I've made a little staircase here going all the way down to behind the villager breeder. So we'll just have this set up when we need to move villagers and we'll block it off when we don't need to. But yeah, let's bring our first guy up and into the church you go. And we will put this guy in the front row. Knock out the rails, put the stair back, and piston and redstone torch. There we go. Alright, so this first guy here needs to be a farmer so that we can get some emeralds. Now we're going to be kind of crossing our fingers with this one because what we need after these two is both melon and pumpkin. But that's not guaranteed. So I guess we'll just grab a bunch of wheat and potatoes and hope for the best. Alrighty, let's hope for the best. Alright, and no dice. Oh, well, I guess apples are useful too. Oh man, I seem to be losing my voice here. And okay, melons. Not gonna lie, I was hoping for pumpkins, but this guy will do for now. Now, I think I want a second farmer, so let's set one up over here as well. And boom, second farmer. But no wheat trade. All I really have right now is wheat, and I don't want to go harvest the crops. There we go. Please have something good. Yes! That is exactly what I was hoping for. I've been collecting stuff and storing it in the windmill for a while, so I actually get to put it to good use now. And I'll just go ahead and grab a bunch of these. And this guy should have melons as well. Yep, sweet. I'll just grab a few emeralds while I'm at it, because we all know how expensive books are. Alright, next up is the librarian. So we are looking for one of 3 trades here. We definitely want mending, but we'll also take efficiency 5 and feather falling. That's the other one. So let's put our first librarian right over here. Now for the fun part. Cycling through trades until we get one that we like. Nope, 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 nope. Yes. And yoink. Alright, we got one guy locked in. Now let's get another one in the bench behind him. Alright, let's give mending another try here. Nope, 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 nope. Hey, that was pretty quick. Yoink. Guys, we did it. We officially have mending. Now, how much do I want to torture myself here? Because I would really like feather falling 4. I think we'll leave the feather falling villager for now. If we have time at the end, maybe we'll do it. If not, we'll do it between episodes. But for now, there's one more villager I want to get, and that is a leather worker. In part because I just have way too much leather. I still have another half chest somewhere else. But the main reason is I want to be able to get saddles. And there we go. Here's our leather worker. Well, that's not the trade I wanted. Let's try this again. Nope. There we go. Can get rid of some of this flint now too. Explain the logic of this. This is the higher tier trade, but I get more progress from getting the hat. Guess I'm buying a lot of hats. Now we got horse armor, and boom, we can buy our own saddles now. Our days of looking for dungeons are over. Alrighty, now it's time to get as many emeralds as we can, because our mending guy is selling books for 16 emeralds, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Yeah, we'll go with 8 books. We've already got 1, so we need a stack and 48 emeralds. Alrighty, we did it. We have 8 mending books. Now it's time for the long, tedious task of waiting at the skeleton grinder and getting all the levels I need to put these books together and mend up all my stuff. Oh man, it feels good to have all of my stuff back at full capacity. My days of worrying about breaking my pickaxe are over. Well, sort of, I guess. Lack of brain power could definitely kill my pickaxe still. But yeah, we have mending on all of our stuff now, including our armor. This build has definitely served its purpose, and I've thought of the perfect name. Welcome to the Church of Mending. You know what? I can actually buy stuff from you now. Don't mind if I do. And now I'll take your leads. Now I know this episode's running a little long, but there's still one more order of business for today, and that is our final terraforming piece up here, the lake. So I'm gonna go ahead and rip this house out, put the lake in, put the waterfall in over there, and I'm thinking maybe a smaller lake down here, but we will see how I'm feeling as I go. By the way, this is all the dirt that we have left from the beginning of the episode. Like I said, 3 double chests sounds like a lot until you start terraforming. Anyways, let's get the show on the road. I don't even want to know how this guy got out here. That seems like a problem for another time. But we got our new lake in here, as well as a secondary smaller fall here to complement the bigger one. Oh man, there's another one down here too. Well, I guess we just have free-range villagers now. But if we head back to Perspective Island over here and turn around, we now have a pretty sweet looking waterfall area. I do want to continue adding to it over time. What I think would be nice is once we get the lake at the top of the hill there, if we had a secondary fall from the top lake coming down this way to this lake here, that might be cool. Maybe we'll tackle that in the next video. We'll also work on linking up this path right here with the church path up here, but that seems like a good stream task. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to stay tuned for episode 9, and I will see you then. Bye bye.